Today, we are going to talk about the International Year of the Child. In 1979, the world came together to mark the International Year of the Child, a symbolic and political effort to place the lives of children at the center of the global agenda. It was more than a celebration. It was a year of campaigns, conferences, reports, and critical reflection on what governments, institutions, and societies were doing, or failing to do, for children. The initiative was led by the United Nations, with coordination by UNICEF. It was not the first time the UN focused on children, but it was the most ambitious effort up to that point to mobilize international attention, funding, and policy around childhood. The year 1979 was not chosen at random. It marked the 20th anniversary of the 1959 Declaration of the Rights of the Child, a moment to revisit that document and evaluate how far the world had come in implementing its ideals. The International Year of the Child took place during a time of intense global change. Post-colonial nations were asserting themselves on the world stage. The Cold War divided political visions. Economic crises and authoritarian regimes marked many countries in the global South, including Latin America. But across these divisions, childhood was presented as a common concern, transcending ideology and geography. Throughout the year, states and civil society organizations launched campaigns on issues such as infant mortality and malnutrition, child labor and education access, homelessness, disability and child abuse, war and displacement. UNICEF coordinated the release of major reports documenting the situation of children worldwide. Media campaigns, including the award-winning documentary Kathy Come Home and the global broadcast Listen to the Children, aimed to give children visibility and a voice in global conversations. The International Year of the Child also spurred academic and policy debate. For the first time, scholars and activists began to critically interrogate the structures that marginalize children, not just focusing on their vulnerability, but also on their agency and participation. Yet, like earlier child-focused initiatives, the International Year of the Child still bore the marks of older frameworks. It largely reinforced a welfarist and protectionist view of children, as dependents to be helped, rather than individuals with legal status and political voice. Its language was still cautious when it came to rights in the full, enforceable sense. But something important was changing. In the wake of the International Year of the Child, momentum began to build for a new international instrument, one that would go beyond moral declarations. The International Year of the Child served as a catalyst for the final push toward drafting what would become the Convention on the Rights of the Child, adopted in 1989. Indeed, several countries, especially in the Global South, used the momentum of 1979 to advocate for stronger legal protections, especially for marginalized groups: street children, working children, children in conflict with the law, and victims of war or exploitation. Critically, the International Year of the Child opened space for non-governmental organizations, academics, and children themselves to participate in discussions traditionally reserved for governments and legal experts. Its legacy is mixed, but meaningful. It was not a rights revolution, but it created the public awareness and institutional pressure necessary to push international law in that direction. The International Year of the Child helped transform childhood from a domestic and moral concern into a global political issue. It turned the spotlight on inequalities, sparked new conversations, and laid the groundwork for one of the most important human rights treaties of the 20th century, the Convention on the Rights of the Child. Stay tuned for more content about children's rights and their history. And thanks for watching.